What's going on, everyone? Whew. Trendy TV Tuesday here. Talking about some interesting conversations surrounding House of the Dragon season 3, episodes 1 and 2. I wanted to talk about season opener last week, but just a little bit too busy with work and life, so didn't get around to it, unfortunately. But there's always next week, so that just seemed to have worked out a little bit, which is nice. But you know, watch the second episode early Monday morning, of course, or sorry, early Monday morning, and yeah, it was interesting just to kind of see where the what would have been season 2 finale left us. And again, I think it's quite interesting just to kind of see where this season is starting, because for those of you who actually watched season 2, it was a severe letdown. It was very boring. I remember that was one of the first streams I ever was a part of as a panel here on YouTube before I started streaming myself. And it was a good time, of course. Shout out to Nadia. And obviously it's one of those situations where you've read the book, and I've got the book right here, the good old Fire and Blood for reference. And reading through it at the time, actually even when season 1 aired, just kind of having an expectation, figuring that certain things would happen, should have happened, but did not happen. So I figure my lighting situation here, which I don't know why it's all. Oh my god, that's bad. Anyway, shout out to Mad Dog. I don't know if he's here, but excited for this one. Yeah, get that brewski, man. And I won't start until you're back. How about that? So definitely want to dive into both episodes here in this stream. Grannies with dreads are kind of. Hi, Molly. How are you? Mooly. Maca bread, like a lot of bread, or bread isn't something else. Just kidding. Good to see you. And yeah, I don't know how many people have watched these 2 episodes, and now I'll say I really haven't joined any conversation in the last 2 weeks, whether it be a chat group, a thread, or a live stream. And I probably won't, but I think I'm going to cover every episode Tuesday nights for the rest of season 3, and then we'll do something else. Yeah, what up, Draconis? How you doing, brother? And see, so this is quite interesting, where I've seen split decisions. I've seen a split of people saying one thing, like they liked the episode, and then I'll see other people say like, "Oh, I severely disagree," or like, bro, what are you smoking crack? This episode was complete ass. I'm not gonna name names or anything like that, but I've definitely seen people who are like vehemently disagreeing with people, and I don't know why some people are still disappointed in the decisions that we were maybe getting in season 3 here, because we knew that things were changing from season 1. And if you've read the book, which I know people who are complaining about this have read the book, and I understand their complaints. I understand the angle that which they're coming from. So ragey. But yeah, what's up, Jax? How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hey, welcome back. All right, cool. I don't even know what my YouTube name is anymore. But it's one of those situations where this isn't a novel, right? If you know enough about this isn't a novel. This reads more like a history book. And not that there's anything wrong with that, because I remember when I first read this book, or was reading through the book, I'm like, cool, you get the idea, and then you can use your creativity or imagination to ventured down the pathways of how this would potentially look. But obviously, and I don't want to say people tend to forget this, because I feel like the people who maybe watch a lot of TV or do a lot of reviews or maybe make a lot of content understand that when it comes to book adaptations or just making things fit for TV, things do sometimes get left out or things do get changed. One of the shows that we're going to be talking about in the very near future is The Terminalist season 1, followed by the airing of Terminalist season 2 in October. Now, I have a few of those books from Jack Carr's saga, and one of the things about that first book is some of the things are changed. Now, I think it works for the changes in the show, and I don't want to say that is there anything wrong with that, but it does kind of change the scope of the characters and their arcs, and maybe the relationship between characters. And that happens in House of the Dragon. And granted, just as a preference point, I think House of the Dragon season 1 was great. I think the acting from Patty Considine alone was phenomenal. And even Rise Iffen also definitely had a huge part in that. And I'll even tip my hat to Matt Smith. He also did a really good job in season 1 as well. And not to say that, Olivia Cook or Emma Darcy didn't do a good job, but the stars of the show were definitely Patty and Matt, in my opinion. Now, season 2, we were expecting to see more of Daemon. Daemon is a phenomenal character in lore and in Fire and Blood. But the problem is that he was absolutely cucked in season 2. Season 2 was dragged out. We know that. Really, I think there only should have been 2 seasons, maybe 3, but the fact that they're dragging it out to 4 seasons is just kind of rubbish. And when you hear things from Ryan Condal saying, well, we couldn't do or portray Jace's brothers well enough with their ages because of the time being condensed. Well, yeah, obviously there's a lot of time skips, but I don't think that would have been a bad thing either, is to have some time skips. Like, I think people should understand. And then again, you could put some sort of text on the damn episodes saying 5 years later, like it's fine when you have to maybe explain it that way, or I mean, I guess you could do it through, exposition, and the characters say, well, hey, look, 3 years have passed. We're still in the same spot. That's fine. Or again, 9 months later, it doesn't really matter at that point. How you do it, just do it. So that way you kind of stay true to the lore, you stay true to the books. And I think that's where a lot of the problems have been arising. I don't know if you're watching an erotic breakdown. I know where it goes, having listened to Fire and Blood and YouTube videos, but as an episode of TV, I love the episode. So I have not watched his breakdown. And I like I said, I haven't watched any breakdown because if I intend to review something myself, and it's not to say that I don't support others, especially, people that I'm maybe closer with, right? Like if, for example, if Niat from Film Comics Explained is going to make a review on a video, like a movie, and I plan to do the same thing, I won't watch his until I've done and published mine onto my channel. Because number one, I don't want anything that he said to kind of make it seem like it's seeped into my own thought or maybe influenced my video to some degree. And, as a comparison, it's good to maybe talk about it after the case. And you can say, oh, I wish I did that. But, it is what it is. I think that's what makes things different in the moment, too. But I did see, I forget what one of the guys on X that said, like, oh, this was a great episode. And actually, I saw Erotic say, like, yeah, this was not a good episode. Like, just to kind of interesting compare and contrast. With saying, like, someone liked it, then someone was like, no, it's not. But and I think, and I guess in some cases, and I don't think this always applies, right? Like when you utterly destroy the lore and source material of something, right? Like Rings of Power is not acceptable, what they've done to it. Wheel of Time is not acceptable of what they've done to it. Now, there are cases that maybe you've taken some adaptations, like maybe from other shows and IPs that have changed a bit, and that's totally fine. But a friend of mine asked me, you know, can these two types of iterations exist simultaneously? Can we have the book and lore, and can we have the show exist together? And just maybe referenced as similar points, maybe the differences. But I mean, I think Mad Dog, you raised a good point where like you understand that there are differences and that things have been done and changed that don't line up with the source material, but you can still enjoy the episode. And that's kind of where I'm at with these two episodes. So I'm like, I liked some of the things that they obviously got right, and some of the things I don't mind so much. And I don't think it is a complete catastrophe. Now, there are things I can't stand about both episodes, which we'll get into both in just a second here. But what's up, Bootzilla? How you doing, brother? The first two episodes of the season would have been better if they were the final two of the last season. Exactly. And I think that would have made season 2 such a strong point. Like we just were dragged through the mud, and it's like, cool, we got, a great episode in episode 4, Melee's dies and blah, blah, blah. But we're expecting to see this great finale. And it's like, sorry, nope, we can't do it. We got to wait till season 3. It's just not acceptable. And I know that deterred a lot of people. And I think maybe if you would have had these two first episodes as the season 2, 9 and 10th episodes, it would have been better, or made a better case for season 2 being a lot better than it actually is. And I'd also say, I think I would have maybe shortened both episodes, which is kind of crazy, because I would have made the penultimate episode where we had the Battle of the Gullet longer. Like, not to say that they skimped out on it, but if you know that there are things that need to be happening, and you know that there's going to be a lot of dragons flying in the air and causing mass destruction, then you got to spend your budget wisely on that, right? Because obviously in the battle, there are technically 5 dragons there, and we only see 3. And obviously the big one is Sheep Stealer with the changed rider, like, right. And this is something that's like, can we, not to say that we shouldn't be a little frustrated or disappointed that we didn't get the character Nettles. I totally would have actually loved to see Nettles as a character in the show. I think Nettles is a good character, and maybe building upon Nettles probably could have made her into a likable character for a lot of people. But instead we get, a weak Reyna. He was completely oblivious and lost, literally, riding a wild dragon and being the cause of the Prince Jacaerys and his demise. Don't really like the fact that it happened that way. I'm like, hey, at least he still died, and Vermax still stank as well, which was kind of sad, I guess, if you care about dragons. But he's still died the same way it's written in the book. So I'm like, hey, like, alrighty then, Yeah, what's up, Suka? How you doing, man? Plenty of changes from season 1 were awesome. Yeah, and that's kind of like the hard part, right? Like, we knew that season 1 and 2 had changes, and some of the changes from season 1 were well done, right? Maybe even better for the sake of television. And I think the problems stem from season 2 and have just carried over into season 3. So, with these 6 remaining episodes that we're getting, how is this going to bode for season 3 overall? Or are they going to maybe find a way to circumvent the issues and make it seem like, hey, you know what? We understand the problems that I had in season 2. We're trying to make up for it. But so far, some of the changes, obviously, I don't appreciate. Like the dragon scenes not being at the Battle of the Gullet. I was like, what are they doing? They're waiting for Aemond and Vermithor. Or sorry, Vhagar, not Vermithor, Vhagar. Sorry, excuse me. Like, they're just sitting there being wasted, and it's like, oh, but we saw a witch. And it's like, who cares, man? Like this is not, that's not going anywhere. right? And sure, you kind of see in episode 2, you see who is it? Ulf and oh my god, what's the other guy's name? Oh my god, that rides Vermithor. I'm having a brain fart. Hugh Hammer, sorry. You have Hugh Hammer and Ulf at Dragonstone, right? In episode 2, you see Daemon like, what are you two doing here? But in the book, they're drinking, they're celebrating, they're like, oh, we slayed them, we burned them, we burned the boats, blah blah blah, right? Like it was like a victory to a degree, I guess. But meanwhile, they're just kind of wasting away. And I'm like, I wanted to see 5 dragons in the bloody air just destroying everything, right? And like obviously one would be bound to fall, but it is what it is. What pisses me off of viewing these as final 2 episodes of season 2 is now that means season 3 is only 6 episodes. They have cut out 2 major battles, not a big deal, but they are cutting. I think it's maybe a second part. I have many complaints in where they're probably going, but I just kind of look past them because I think overall the story I like and some characters I don't love downplay my guy Daeron. Yeah, and that's going to be the biggest thing too. Is seeing where Daeron Hightower comes into play and how they portray him, right? So that'll be interesting. And yeah, I mean, it's like for an 8 episode season, 2 of which should have been the season 2 penultimate and finale. Now we're getting a 6 episode season technically. I know people are like, oh, it's 8 episodes. What are you talking about? Okay, whatever. Matt Smith doing some heavy listening last episode. Good to see his back to normal Leonheimer's. Right. And I think Matt Smith did a good job in these 2 episodes. I really do. I think his acting was back to that season 1 prowess. Right. I mean, especially when in the throne room where he goes to hand, his sword to Rhaenyra. I was like, yeah, use my sword to behead Sir Otto Hightower. And hilarious. And I will say this. I wanted to kind of divvy up things in season or to episode, but I will say this, and maybe I'll just repeat it. But I love for the fact that she hits him in the back, like right in his mid trap area, right? Like, and it doesn't kill him; it just kind of wounds him, and then and then she has to take another strike to actually behead him. I'm like, yeah, because when has she ever swung a sword in battle? When has she ever decapitated someone? Not to my knowledge, she hasn't. So that would kind of be accurate. Like, how do you know exactly where to aim? And then obviously, Daemon's like, cool, let me take my sword back. And then boom, all the guys said just go, and you just goes flying off. So Matt Smith is literally the only reason why I watch House of the Dragon. Yeah, it's fine. No, Molly, you're incorrect. Rings of Power deserves all the hate and more that it gets and will continue to get. I think an adaptation on screen or movie needs to be clear adaptation of the source material. However, in a video game adaptation, I think you can add new content, for example, Witcher, to a 60+ hour game. Yeah, video games are different, right? And I remember when they first announced they were doing this show, and I was talking to a buddy of mine about it who's read the book. I'm like, wow, it's cool, but I'm a bit weary knowing how HBO fudged up the last few seasons of Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire. And who knows if that'll actually be the real ending that we get. Maybe. We know George is never going to finish those books, but maybe after he passes away, not to be morbid or anything like that, but maybe someone will be like, all right, cool, I'm just going to publish what he has, and that's that. Or maybe he'll, like, in his will and testament, he'll be like, I'm not going to ever release these, please. I'm just going to lock them in a vault. But yeah, again, I think if you're going to condense something like this, and again, like, it's not that Ryan Condal, I think, deserves all the blame, because again, George left after season one, and I don't know what kind of conversations were had between them, right? I mean, if he's like, cool, I'm gonna peace out, or like, you guys don't need me here, that's fine, and you know, fill in the blanks of what I have. But then what we get is not good, so who knows? Oh, Beans, what's going on? How was work today? Last 2 episodes, we're just ending of season 2, which means season 3 is, yeah, exactly, only 6 episodes. The actress who plays Raina is so annoying. Maybe it's the way her character is written, but every time her scenes come on, I get taken out of the show temporarily. Yeah, she's just a weak character. And I don't, again, not placing any blame on the actress by any means, but there's just something about the way her character is portrayed that is just utterly annoying, and it just doesn't fit. And that's where I'm like, cool, we could have had Nettles instead, but yet here we are. So, you know, kind of again, kind of a weird thing to deal with, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. Sorry, I was adjusting my background. My money is they will be leaning more into soap opera style melodrama. 100%, 100%. Which, again, knowing what's coming, man, I'm a little concerned, but I think they can make it work. I haven't counted it out completely yet, but I am definitely in the camp of they might severely alter what's in the book and the lore, but it could be good, right? Like, we're gonna make some changes, but here it is. They're just doing stupid decisions with screen time. Mysteria sucks. I can't remember her end, but but she sucks. And the Alicent grape scene added more character work. I don't know. Yeah. So the White Worm Mysteria. Number one, she's not a good actress. Not a good actress. And whenever she's on screen, I'm like, ugh, God, like, can I just fast forward this a bit, please? Like, and again, just her having this, weird relationship with Rhaenyra is like, okay, that's just kind of forced because Emma is, a lesbo or bi, whatever she is, IRL. So it's like, we got to include that in the show. And it's like, no, we don't. Why are you adding shit that's not in there? Right. Like, that is completely irrelevant. The Valyrian steel is the only reason why she managed to decapitate. Exactly. Yeah. If it was any other sword, nah, it would have been like very brutal and painful. It would have been like a slow, choppy death. It's easy to judge something after the fact, but like some of these decisions today, I think people are afraid to say it's stupid because of DEI and HR and all that superhero stuff. Exactly. I agree. Like, I think when you change things and you try to insert this propaganda, it's like, this is fantasy. We don't need this kind of stuff, right? Work was good. Low key. Most of my coworkers took off the whole week. Oh, wow. And tomorrow's my Friday. Ooh, nice. Put your bourbons in and feeling good. Heck yeah. Today wasn't a bad day. I think it was pretty good. I had a good work meetings for the most part with clients. It's like you take some stuff that's good and tough, and you gotta do with it what you will. But I'm expecting the next couple days to be slower because I am off on Friday as well. So I don't know what breakdown of House of the Dragon GOT male versus female is for everyone, but I'm tired of seeing Rhaenyra and Alicent butting heads. I want to see more sword fighting and Daemon killing people. Right. And I think that's where like they're leaning a lot on the melodrama, and it's like, I think they're trying to overplay Alicent and Rhaenyra because of like, they're trying to say like, well, they had such a great childhood. They were such good childhood friends. And, now that they're older as adults, they're trying to, assert dominance and power for who has the throne and who rules. But it's like, what's up, Vex? Can't end June without talking about House of the Dragon. Vex has her own clip now, guys. I don't know if you know that for the channel. and will be played upon super chats. um, yeah, and so like I kind of have some notes based on where episode 1 is and episode 2. So take a swig of my drink here. So, and I think because of, again, in episode 1, looking at the length of time, I should say, for the episode, we kind of knew that the Battle of the Gulf was going to happen. And it was setting up this climactic event, again, that we should have gotten as the season 2 finale. But we don't. And then obviously episode 2 here is like the aftermath, the finale moment of season 2. There's, grief, there's retaliation from Rhaenyra. And obviously they finally go to King's Landing, with Daemon and, but I feel like for episode 1, right, in the book, which again, right here, I was just rereading. I've been rereading it a little bit over the last week now, I guess. But talking about why some people, when I saw on X, saying, "Well, the Battle of the Gullet is should have been tied to Rhaenyra's younger sons, Aegon and Viserys. Being sent away to Pentos. And obviously, like, we see the Triarchy attacks, and then Aegon escapes on Stormcloud. Viserys gets captured, and Jace is obviously the one who flies in the battle for his brothers. I was like, Jace should have been flying out for his brothers, and searching for his brothers is about being about brotherhood, yeah. And I agree. Look, that would have given Jace this sort of clear and heroic familial purpose. Totally fine to say and suggest that brothers matter, right? You're doing this for your brothers. The fact that they changed it, right? So we get the show version of saying, well, Aegon and Viserys not involved whatsoever. Their names are not even mentioned. And that was one of the things, again, that Ryan Condal basically says, that in the show the boys are younger. Too young because the timeline was compressed, and that kind of makes these complex action sequences with them just it's really not maybe safe or maybe impractical for the actors themselves playing a younger Aegon and Viserys to be involved. But I think he says in an article or interview is saying like, oh, they haven't been forgotten and they still matter to the bloodline, yeah, but they matter to us, they matter to the fans, they matter to the book readers, going like, well, saying that you take the side of Jace, making the maybe like power move, going, cool, mom, you're gonna stay locked up in here, don't let her out, Knight, and because you're also supposed to protect her from herself. Which I was like, I mean, she is queen, so how are you as a prince going to overthrow the queen's decisions? She's not mad. She's trying to be strategic. And that was one of the things I'm like, oh, Jace is doing this to protect his mother. Right. And I understand that's where I've seen some people go, well, it's okay. Right. Like, he's trying to save his family still, right? Instead of Jace saving his brothers, he's saving his mother. But I think in the show, this is the problem. In the show, it becomes more accidental because of everyone's favorite character, Rhaena. And listen, I feel bad for a sheep stealer. I mean, there's been some funny memes that I've seen with sheep stealer being like, hey man, I was just trying to find some sheep, and next thing you know, or I'm just lighting ships on fire and I got a wild sense of humor. But, I feel like, sheep stealer did nothing wrong. It's all Rhaena's fault. she was trying to do something. She was trying to find a bloody dragon in the Vale, and it's like, no, no. Again, this is where the problem of not having Nettles comes into play, and kind of set up to ruin other themes, other moments in the show that have a problem. And I feel like my issue is by making this change, by making Jace save and protect his mother instead of fighting to protect and save his brothers, is that it actually weakens Jace's agency. I don't think he died appropriately. Again, he gets so shot and drowns, all that stuff in the book too. But yeah, I that was the change I didn't care for. And the result is the same, but it's getting to that point that weakened his character. And I'm like, yeah, bit of a strike there for me. Just think how awesome this last episode would have been had it ended in season 2. The entire time between 2 and 3 could have made it for great conversation. 100%. Yeah, I feel like we were robbed. We were, because we had to wait 2 freaking years for this too. Sidebar. Episodes of X-Men 97 came out tonight. Ooh. Not going to go off on a super tangent about this. I loved season 1. Bo DeMeo did a fantastic job. And based on some conversations that I saw with Bo on some live streams on Gooch's Diabolical Souls channel, maybe was it sometime last year, I'm weary about season 2 and season 3. And that's all I'll say for that. They are just very stupid women that ruin everything they touch. The writers actually think they are great characters, but they really aren't, especially not after season 1. Yeah, with Alicent and Rhaenyra, they're really not. The way they ham-fisted the sheep stealer story made his death retarded. Dude, yeah. Like, and I was like, I think sheep stealer looked cool. He had that, like, you know, English underbite, you know. I'm like, oh damn, like sheep stealer actually looks pretty damn cool. Now everything as a result of that was not cool. And it's funny, I was watching it with a small group, because I'm like, let's just watch the season opener together in a little watch party, and it was super late at night, so we were up late after traveling a bit. But I'm like, I called it. I'm like, Sheepster's has to be at the Battle of the Gullet. It's in the book. And then when I see Rhaenyra jump on it on Sheepster, I'm like, oh man, we're gonna get some shit changed here. This ain't gonna be good. Ain't gonna be good at all. I think the agency part is a stretch, but the kids not being there is a complete mess up, because I don't remember. But after that, does Rhaenyra have Aegon the Younger the whole time after this? I believe so. Again, that's something that like could have been changed, but they're not referenced from what I remember in the book here. Yeah, I agree. That was well done. And I think, again, like one of the things that this show actually does well and got right, it was like the design, the look and the feel of the dragons. Like I've seen some memes out there that said like, oh, I love the way, Cyrax is drinking water. And I'm like, okay, well, that's the only thing I liked about episode 2. I'm like, all right, I'm not falling for your rage bait. But so again, kind of jumping back on Rhaena replacing Nettles, and the problem with that is Rhaena, right? As we know, Rhaena is highborn. What is Nettles? Nettles is a lowborn girl. And again, Nettles has a unique bond with Sheepstealer. Rhaena does not have any bond with Sheepstealer. She's speaking to it in Valyrian, and Sheepstealer's like, yo, little girl, shut the hell up. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna eat my sheep. Like, hey, look, Sheepster was nice enough to give her some sheep. He even cooked the bloody thing too. But obviously, Sheepstealer is a wild dragon, and there is no bond. There's nothing that is usual. And I think that was one of the things about Nettle's character that I liked in the book, from the context that we are able to extract from the historical references that George gives us. But there are things that are thematically important from Nettles as a character. And again, the show just gives us, a filler. Reyna is just a filler character that, she can't control, and it becomes a major part of the chaos that ensues Jace's death. And I don't know why. I still don't know why they didn't include Nettles as a character. And I understand that, like, they already have like such a huge cast of characters because there's so many references to the characters, which, I mean, look how many characters were in Game of Thrones. Like, they did it once before. You saw how it was kind of managed, and obviously managed well through about 5 seasons, 4.5, some people say. But I don't agree with giving Reyna the limelight and this arc with Sheepstealer. And I don't think it really gives it more purpose than what Nettles would have supplied to it. And like, to me, I would have been okay with her being dragonless. Like, okay, well, whatever. Like, you're just another kin of the Valyrian line. Like, could you speak to one? Sure, but like, you just have a smaller egg. You don't need a giant ass wild dragon. And I think, in terms of her future with Reyna and Sheepstealer, like, I have no idea what they're going to do from it now, because, like, obviously, like, they've deviated so far from this. I'm like, I don't know, what they're going to maybe try and tie back together in the book or not. That's why I'm like, I need to read ahead again and see what happens to Sheepstealer. Who knows? Maybe she'll die with Sheepstealer. I don't know. Like, right? Like, there's so many things that they could essentially do. When we start seeing some the death of the dragons, which I presume is going to happen in season 4, right? When they're going to probably just kill off all the dragons and be like, look, we've got eggs that'll eventually go to Khaleesi. Can't remember what happens to Joffrey, so don't spoil it. Yeah, we're not going to talk ahead past where we are in episode 1 or 2. Yo, what's up, Zach? How you doing, man? I don't want to do big spoilers for people who don't know, but I guess people who got the first 4 episodes say there are multiple battles. Something in episode 4 is Tumbleton, but I guess could be later. Maybe. I think we might see it next episode, if I'm being honest. It's a wild dragon, and the first thing she did was drag him into battle and get him hurt multiple times. If I was Sheepster, I'd be very pissed. Yeah, I've been like, yo, let me do a barrel roll and just like throw you off, like, but it's one of those moments where you feel bad for the animal, the dragon, because even as a wild dragon, I think it deserves better, right? Like, this is who owns you. This is who is going to represent you, I guess, as a Valyrian or Targaryen. Not very good. And again, I think for episode 1 too, with Daemon, right? Like, finally he's out and he's not in Harrenhal having these dumbass nightmares or dreams anymore. Like, it's so much better to see him in especially Matt Smith, having Matt Smith on screen more just does better for the show. It does. He's a great actor. And I think he obviously carries the weight a lot as Daemon Targaryen, who arguably, again, Daemon is one of the great, best characters, best Targaryen characters as well. And obviously, I think too, when he meets what's his face, Stark, that's a good that was a cool moment. And then they throw the lion's head on the field. I'm like, okay. Some more decapitations. I do think I remember George saying that. I think I forget who it was mentioning this, but I think someone said um that Tom Hiddleston was going to be or was considered as a choice for Daemon Targaryen. Which I don't know. I mean, obviously Tom Hiddleston's a good actor, so not to say that he could have done a good job, but man, it kind of would have sucked to. I mean, it kind of sucked for Matt Smith to have been cucked in season 2. It kind of would have been the same thing for for Tom Hiddleston, honestly. Yeah, and I think with just as a maybe talking about the other side on the Greens, um, with Aemond, um, and I think with with a disfigured Aegon fleeing King's Landing with our friend Clubfoot, Lord Larys, in that interesting predicament that he finds himself in of being sold out, but obviously kind of pays off because then he gets freed in episode 2. But you can kind of see again some interesting character development from Aegon. From Aemond. Sorry, Aemond One Eye, as he almost executes Grandmaster Orwell for like, oh my, where's my brother? I don't know, he's gone. And obviously we'll get to Aemond's part in episode 2 here in just a second, but excuse me, I was gonna burp on screen. We know that there's actually, I mean, I don't want to ruin anything for people who don't know, but there's obviously something larger and something more important coming for Aemond. And in episode 2, we obviously see what happens, where he's like, cool, I'm going to Harrenhal. Let's be honest, how could any of these people give a fuck about a prophecy that will happen after they're all dead? Right. And I feel like that's one of those interesting moments with Matt Smith saying like, oh, we got to focus on the prophecy. I've seen it. I've seen it, Rhaenyra, like, but you don't know if that's her or not. Like you don't know who the prince that was promised. Didn't say princess, just said prince. Well, Jace is dead. So who's the prince? Is it Daemon? Right? I mean, you know who it is, obviously, but what did you think of Black Ally? And I'm forgetting if we should have Bloody Ben yet or not, but I want to see him in Dalton. I think that's the name. Ray Kraken just wreaking havoc. I don't think we get that yet, but yeah, it's funny. I have the episode of my other monitor kind of just playing up above. And I think like the sea snake, with Lord Corlys, there's a moment where it's like he's like trying to guide the guy to steer, and then he finally is like, move over, let me do it. I'm like, why shouldn't you have been steering in the first place? Like, you're the only one who knows like these shallow waters with the rocks, and whatnot. But yeah, because I'm thinking it was in episode 2 where both Alan and Adam are like, well, now they get his name, right? Now they get Valerian, which I think was it Alan says having his name be worth more than anything that could be given by money, right? Like, yeah, cool. I have a ship. I have a fort. I have a castle. Whatever. right? But the name, the title, that means a lot more. And I mean, yeah, I think there's the moment in episode 2, not to just jump ahead yet, but I mean, I think it's the same line as he says, in the second episode, where it's like, if this is a victory, then like I don't want to have any more of them, right? Um, which it's like, yeah, well, hey, battles are tough. It's probably the worst one that he's had to deal with, but um, I wish we got to see the Greybeards battle rather than showing them after they won. Yeah. Again, I feel like that's one of those situations where, like, how much time do you have? What do you want to give us with that time? Uh, you know, him being a Targaryen supremacist is the best reason for him wanting to keep his house alive until the long winter. And how the hell did he make it all the way to the shore with all that heavy armor? I was kind of wondering about that, but I'm like, there's no way they're going to let him drown and kill him off like that without giving his bastard children their rightful names, but his last name, right? And obviously we did get the we did get the line that he talks about. Which I'm like, where the hell is the damn line in the book? I was just looking at it. I'm like, it always happens when you just know something where I should have written it down. Page 456 or whatever it was. But anyway, yeah, we know what he says in episode 2. Yo, what up, Waylon? How you doing? How was a fistful of dollars? Talking more Clint Eastwood back to back nights. This isn't a spoiler, but for those who don't know, the book's Gawain dies in the Rhaenyra, taking the throne scene. So all the stuff from now nobody knows. Yeah. Which I was just looking at too. And I mean, with episode 2, the things that are changed, right? Like, Rhaenyra, angry, goes and flies to take King's Landing. In the book, in the chapter, The Dying of the Dragons, of course, as it's called. And Rhaenyra is triumphant. And obviously it's again, she's able to succeed in this because of Daemon and his old loyalty among the Gold Cloaks. Was it he comes in as like, I'm here because of, Daemon gave me this gold cloak 20 years ago. And so here I am again, to represent him and to be loyal. And so, I mean, I love that. I really liked that scene, I have to say, where it's like, obviously I was like, oh, Rhaenyra and Daemon aren't going to die here, of course. But the fact that it kind of pans out that way still was nice. Again, like I appreciate the things that they get right and that they stay true to. And obviously, like the part that in episode 2, which I don't know why they did this. And I guess we'll maybe see if there's any payoff to it. But in the book, Alicent has nothing to do with secretly engineering the city to surrender. She doesn't go on top and, speak to the soldier and be like, hey, so Rhaenyra's coming here with Daemon and they're going to have some dragons. Don't mess with them. Don't try to shoot them down. Just kind of, forego your post and just let him in. We're going to have a peaceful conversation here. And obviously the show gives Alicent all the credit, just giving them the red carpet into the Red Keep. And in the book, of course, um, it's Daemon's past command of the City Watch, which is a major reason why the gates open. So, and I feel like this is the type of deviation that I would criticize more of, than like what happens in the first episode with the Battle of the Gullet. Like, it's not so much a plot change, but I feel like it again. I think Suka, you were talking about that you're taking these women as characters, where you're taking the credit that Daemon should be getting it, and what are you doing? You're redistributing it to Alicent, a woman, a female character. Why? I feel like number one, you're again not only discrediting Daemon, a beloved character, but in some cases you're like disenfranchising him from having this authority. Like, okay, maybe some of it is recuperated because all the gold cloaks come in, and you're like, oh, hey, you gave me this gold cloak 20 years ago. Like, I still remember you, bruv. Like, we're good. No. Give my boy Daemon all the damn credit. He deserves it. And again, it's the book that says Daemon's history with King's Landing matters. So again, the lore is saying what happens and what Daemon built and helped establish 20 years ago has severe weight. And in the show, this version that we're getting on live TV is saying the private bargaining from Alicent, the Queen Dowager, and her old friend, childhood friend Rhaenyra, matters more. So again, you could look at it a couple ways. Just think, well, for childhood friends, they're trying to establish that. Or you could say they're trying to put more weight and more importance on female characters and take away from a male character. Her plan was just to openly talk about treason within earshot of countless people, which is retarded. AF, I agree. Honestly, can't type about the problems I had with these episodes, especially episode 2. Yeah, whatever you want to type, Suka, I will read and discuss for sure, man. Daemon is the prince of the city, not just a rogue prince. Oh, 100%. Like Daemon is the rightful prince of the city, of the throne. And yes, he is the most experienced warrior and dragon rider in the war. Right. And again, without Daemon, and again, I hate the fact that like, oh, they're just trying to forego Daemon's importance in season 2. And I'm like, why are you trying to strong arm my boy? Like, you are worthless without Daemon Targaryen, Rhaenyra. Like, maddening, honestly. What'd you say? I took it off at like 160. That was okay. You're talking with Beans about smoking protein in meat. Okay, sorry. I mean, you're seeing in the marketing where all the focus on Rhaenyra and Alicent, but at this point, Alicent in the books is practically sidelined. We're only talking episode 1 and 2 here, Will, and I don't want to spoil anything that we haven't seen yet. Just so context for episodes 1 and 2, basically. But yeah, I mean, it's again the importance of Daemon should not be overlooked, And I feel like again with the show, they're trying to keep this like emotional like figure here, emotional spine alive between Alicent and Rhaenyra. But I also feel like it kind of makes, because things are maybe they're so focused between them, and it kind of makes it a little bit smaller and like more contrived because of again, like we get it, they're childhood friends and blah blah blah, but like they're opposing forces, and like Allison should have listened to Rhaenyra 2 seasons ago when Rhaenyra's like, no, 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 like you don't know the story behind this dagger and the prince that was promised. You don't know what that's about. Total side note for episode 1. I was just playing above me here. When what's his face? Alan drowns the sea bitch. You know who I'm referring to? I was like, hell yeah. Shank that hoe in the water. Now, in episode 2, right? Which this happens a little bit maybe after some things that maybe I don't think we've actually gotten to yet. But the moment when they're looking in the jail cells, because they're the dungeons, they're looking for Aegon. They're like, oh shit, Aegon's not here. But we might have found the next best thing, and I'm like, Otto, Sir Otto Hightower. And obviously in the book, Otto is executed as a traitor after Rhaenyra takes the King's Landing. But I think in the show it feels a bit more personal. And obviously, again, as Suka pointed out, like it wouldn't have been possible without Dark Sister. That Valyrian steel is tough. And so I feel like, and I don't know what you guys think about it happening, of course, because it does it does happen in the book. So it's not like it's like, oh my God, they killed Sir Otto Hightower. Like, we didn't know that was happening. Right? Well, maybe we did, but I think, does it still work the way it happens? I mean, I think it does. And I wasn't like in any sort of like major disagreements with that. I mean, I definitely think Otto was part of the architect behind Rhaenyra's suffering, and the wedge that gets driven between his daughter Alicent and Rhaenyra, and obviously Otto being the hand of the throne a few times until he was thrown in jail. But I think her hesitation to do it, I don't think there should have been any hesitation from her. I feel like she should have seen him and been like, oh, this bastard's still alive? Okay. Well, hey, 2 of my sons are dead, partially because of the shit you orchestrated, years ago. You kind of screwed my father a bit. And then you screwed me even more when you said I shouldn't be queen when you met me face to face. And I said, no, I am queen. So you opposed me. Therefore, you are a traitor. Like at that point, she should have been like, cool. Oh, Daemon, thanks for Dark Sister. Whack. Oh, didn't get it the first time. Whack. But now I got it, And then maybe she should have executed the other dude that was next to him too. Forgot his name, but was the one who tried to grape Alicent or whatever, right? I'm trying to find that line here. Yeah, here we go. This is on page 464. People want to read along with the book, but basically, I'm not going to read it all because I'm going to get some weird bullshit copyright. But it says, Sir Otto Hightower, who had served 3 kings as hand, was the first traitor to be beheaded. Iron Rod followed him to the block, still insisting that by law a king's son must come before his daughter. And that's basically it. Dude, it's so short. Ugh. I did a little math in my head in my drive home today about the ages in Daemon. It is like his mid-40s in the books, and Rhaenyra's mid-30s. The actors represent their age, not pretty good. Yeah, I think looks-wise, it's it fits that perception. I don't have a problem really so much with the actors or their looks really. Well, the main ones, right? Like Rhaena kind of sucks, but and Mysaria is a terrible actress. But why the hell are they only why the hell are they only at the Blacks taking King's Landing? They need to be way further along. But that's what I'm saying. There's a weird like time like dilation and condensing here that some things just don't make sense. But like, oh, but uh, Viserys and Aegon are too young to be in the battle, and it's like, or to be involved because of Jace's intentions, right? I'm like, no, they could have still been in the involved. What's up, Absolute Real Cinema? They should have spent more time in season 1 and 2 establishing the younger characters. Way too much with Rhaenyra, and Alicent, especially Alicent. Yeah, I think there was so much of Alicent in season 2, and again, like the fact that they dragged things out so much in season 2 and they didn't focus on the younger characters. Like, well, you could have focused on the younger characters, Ryan Condal, in season 2, so that way you could still include them in the beginning here. Again, I mentioned this earlier for people who are just joining. Like, I don't know if they're just afraid to get more actors to portray their ages. Like, well, you got to do what you got to do. You did it in season 1. Just put like, a text that pops up, or have some exposition that explains how many years later has occurred. Like, it's not that hard. They just got rid of one of the 2 best actors they had left. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that Rhys Ifans, as Otto Hightower, he dies, right? I mean, because I think, again, in season 1, Rhys was one of the main reasons why that season was so good. Like I was talking to Vex about this, and to see if she was going to join the streams here, and I'm like, look, season 1 is really good. Like, I've watched season 1 a couple times. And season 2 that you could just utterly skip and probably watch someone else on YouTube that's got a condensed version of sorts, that you can kind of get the drift of. But a lot of people are like, yeah, nothing happens. One thing happens. There's a dragon fight. Aegon's scarred, but what's her face? Princess. What's her face in Melee's dies, right, in the fight. But can I bring up the trailer with the promo picks for episode 3 and do predictions? I don't think there's much spoilers. Oh yeah, we could totally do that. Absolutely. I won't bookmark this so we can remember that, Mad Dog. With so many bad changes, why didn't they just extend the time on the show? A great point, and I asked myself the same thing. I don't know why they made some of these changes, and I don't know if you guys watch like through the end of the show, because sometimes they'll show like the actors talking about what happens, in Ryan Condal will talk, and other people who like directed the episode will talk about it. And I think it's interesting just to kind of hear their take and their perspective as to like what happens, especially from the showrunner himself, which, I'm like, Ryan, I disagree with you there. Or, I think it was after episode two here, which I figured as much, because it's not really, it's not in full description or drawn out to say like, well, here's Daemon and Rhaenyra kind of walking side by side, like they're not so much mirroring themselves, but they're kind of moving as a unit through King's Landing. They're she's staying by his side. Well, it's like, well, of course, like she has zero fighting experience. You have like the most established and best sword fighter here. Like, you should feel safe even when you're kind of outnumbered at that point. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. I was like, yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. Daemon pushing Rhaenyra to kill Otto because low-key, he can't kill Otto himself. What's up, April May? Yeah, because I think if he would have done it right, it makes Rhaenyra less serious. So I mean, I don't mind her doing it again. Like, I think it was kind of accurate to her taking those swings herself, right? Like, if you're going to take the throne, you need to spill the blood. And I mean, I think this show does some things right with, like, there's been some pretty cool shots cinematography wise, right? And I appreciate the set pieces, getting out with the sound of the scores, ever really bad in these shows, but And I think that's something that in movies, and like, oh, this movie wasn't very good, but I appreciate the some of the cinematography that takes place, right? Some of these camera angles, I appreciated the shot and the reflection of Rhaenyra walking, you know, through Otto's blood, and then you see her footsteps in the blood trail, but then you kind of see her ascending the steps to the Iron Throne, and then you see it happening in the pool of blood that she spilt. So again, like I think just thematically, it's like, well, in order to take this, you have to spill blood, and thus you see the imagery happening in real time in the blood that she's spilt as she's taking what is rightfully hers. So this is actually based on a period in English history called the Anarchy. I am aware. Otto was completely correct about not letting a woman on the throne. I mean, look, I think it was one of those questions that we had maybe when we were covering season 2 on Nadia's stream, where it was like, should she even take the throne in the first place? Like, or should it technically go to Daemon? I think Daemon would have been a much better king than Rhaenyra ever could have or would have been as a queen. Love how Daemon sliced his head off mid sentence. Yeah, like he can cut off Homeboy's head, but he wouldn't cut off Otto Hightower's head, right? Daemon is 49 to 50 in the books around this time. I mentioned this earlier, William. I think you mentioned this. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't think that he would have done a bad job or anything like that. But I think Matt Smith does a good job. Again, every scene that Matt Smith is in as Daemon, you're like, here we go. Like, we better see some good shit here. He kills Jasper without any hesitation. Jasper Wild, yes, but has to dance around killing Otto for some reason. Daemon couldn't kill Otto himself. I was just trying to look that because I don't remember that in the book. If it mentions why that was, but yeah, Sir Luther Largent, commander of the Gold Cloaks, was ennobled. He's like, oh, you wanna stand against my boy Daemon? Good luck. Otto is the only exception. Yeah. Yeah, Iron Rod. Oh, sorry. Iron Rod was cartoonishly evil and stupid in the last episode. It felt like a men bad moment written by a Twitter feminist. Yep. The God's Eye feels really disappointing. I mean, I hope not. I don't know if we're gonna get that in this season though. I think we will, but maybe that'll be the season 3 finale. We'll see. Yeah, Jasper has always been a pig, but we're supposed to put together that Jasper was watching Alicent, right? In season 1, we should have had a scene with Darren and the kids before he got sent off, and we should have also had a scene with Rhaenyra talking to at least one of her siblings to add emotion to value. 100%. And that was, I think, maybe some critique that I said where, like, why have we not actually gotten anything about Darren? Like, oh, he's coming in season 3. Bruh. Like, we've been waiting 4 years for this? Come on now. Ooh, another 4 a.m. call. Any other time you stream this week, I can watch the whole thing. I think I might stream Friday for a little, July 4th, 250, 1776, honorary. I don't know what I'm talking about yet, but it'll definitely be related to that. I'll kind of think of some things, but open to suggestions as well. But I think I'm gonna stream Friday afternoon and at noon because I will not be working. So, listen to what Jasper said word for word. Actually, I think I was going to play the Queen's Landing as the episode title is called. God, how pretentious. Gosh. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, how do you guys feel of the about like the Starks being in this? See if I can just trying to fast forward here a little bit, guys. Hold on. My other monitor. Okay, there's the okay, let me pull up the subtitles real quick and then I'll just read them as the episode plays. Oh, because those are not synced very well. Wonderful. What an industrious um this is what's his face? Um Iron Rod talking to Alicent in episode 2. What an industrious, what'd you say? Hold on. What an industrious little creature you are. Hmm. Yeah, he's like, I remember you too, Your Grace. Bro, what a creep. Snaking in your ways to the halls of power. So young, so bold. She's like, I served the realm faithfully. I could probably just play this now. I could probably just share my screen and play it. And then there's music coming, but maybe I'll just do that. Hang on one second. Catch up on chat real quick. But like GOT, the problem started in season 1 by playing a little loose and fast with canon. Yeah, and they stopped listening to George, which again, this is the I'm like, well, after season 1, like if you stop listening to George because he was on for season 1, then it's like, oh well, he's off for season 2 and the rest. So I'm like, well, now we know like it's just gonna be bad. Yeah, I think again, I don't think he just I mean the book doesn't I mean from what I'm looking at, it doesn't really say why he couldn't, but I feel like it's more so again as I mentioned, like I think it's something that I I I believe she had to do it to take her spot. And he says that too, right? Shark Week. Yeah, he wanted Rhaenyra to do it, but Damon would do it if it came down to it. You're implying like he physically, mentally couldn't, which he just wanted Rhaenyra. He's obviously physically capable to do it. I mean, he just does it to Iron Rod right after that. Um, but of the two, there's more importance. There's more backstory, as I was mentioning earlier. Like there's more weight by taking Otto Hightower's head. Go check out Alicent and Helena seen by Weirwood. Read the page and the Helena. I don't know what book you have, April. If you have the main one, I don't know if you remember what page that was, but I do remember that vaguely. Hmm. Rhaenyra had to show some authority, and Daemon had to let her do it. Yep, exactly. Tom Hiddleston has the voice for it. Yeah, but I think Matt Smith does as well. Like again, I don't think it was we're like we lost anything by having Matt Smith, but oh, 100% season 2 was a waste of time. God's Eye won't be until first episodes of next season. Need Matt Smith for the promo. Maybe. The, the book Helena has open says the butterflies are deadly, but she survives. She still lives. It's crazy. Yeah. I've seen reviewers and reaction channels thinking Roderick the Ruin, Chibs from Sons. Yeah, Chibs. Yep. I don't know the actor's name, but he thinks by thinking he's a Stark, which he isn't, so normies don't know. Um, yeah, God, what was his name? I mean, I like him as an actor, so when he shows up, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't realize it was called Queen's Landing. Yeah, just give me one more thing to hate about the episode. Yeah, I was like, I noticed that earlier when I was like taking some notes, and I'm like, the episode's called Queen's Landing. Come on, man. By the way, it's because of the dance that the Tyrells truly gained a strong foothold in the Reach. Yes. Yep. The Dance of the Dragons. Um, yes, Cregan Stark is a Chad. I agree. I thought the whole idea of this was hold on. I thought the whole idea of this was for this to be covering the dance for only 3 seasons. I thought so too. That's what I thought the importance was going to all be about the dance. And nope. Let's insert a bunch of other shit into it. But yeah. And I don't know, like, I mean, overall, I think, like, yes, sometimes adaptations do deviate, but I think if the quality is still there and if you justify like the deviations or like rerouting, then it can still work, right? I mean, there are things that deviate from the books in the Lord of the Rings trilogy that just wouldn't have really made sense in the film. It could have potentially, but again, unless you really knew the lore, it might not have made a lot of sense to some people. But again, I think the changes that were made still worked, right? I mean, again, it's better to be like 85% accurate from the source material and you change a small amount and those changes aren't so damaging to the lore or the characters. But for a show or a book like this, right? We're not talking about 3 novels with 6, or technically like 6 parts, right? Right? Like this is just a giant history book here that spreads like 300 years of the Targaryen lineage. So, it's like I think with Jace dying in episode 1, like Rhaenyra's grief still works. I think, the Sea Snake Lord Corlys calling this victory unbearable and I don't want any more of it, I think still fits. I think the surrendering of of King's Landing didn't quite go the way I thought it would. As I mentioned earlier, I think it undermines and discredits Daemon because he is a Chad and you're just removing his Chadness. But the spectacle of what happens is still there. I still take it. Sir Luther still shows up. The Gold Cloak still show up for loyalty. Otto still gets decapitated. Rhaenyra takes the throne. But again, the other problems are about Nettles. Sheep Stealer did nothing wrong. He was innocent and looks badass. The children being removed from the battle, the surrounding of the battle of the Gullet. Again, making Alicent the key to Rhaenyra's taking just. And I think there's like these butterfly effects that are happening here too, and it's just like, it's like altering why things happens. Just it's like nonsense, and it just shouldn't really exist the way it does, but it does. So, and I mean, cool. Like another example too in episode 2, like Aemond, Ryan, that whole-rioed old bitch, Vega. I love when he calls her that though. And then obviously Sir Kristen Cole. Can't stand Sir Kristen Cole either. Cannot stand Kristen Cole. Um, Yo, what up, Nerd Slap? Watching over on Kick. Hey, go follow me on Kick, just because YouTube can be funky sometimes. But shout out to the people who are watching over on Kick. Like when Vagar gets to Harrenhal and like, well, like dude's just gonna start lighting shit on fire. And the one thing I thought about too, from perspective of taking Vagar to Harrenhal, and he doesn't, or at least in the episode, right? It's not like Vagar just starts lighting everything on fire like Balerion did. Which again, maybe we'll see that whenever they decide to do the Aegon's Conquest show or movie. I forget what they even said they were doing now, which again might be a little concerned of that. But I mean, I think there's more to that than where we're at right now. But I think don't screw that up. Like, spend all of your money on Balerion the Dread. Like, just get no name actors. It doesn't need to be no one, like, have some talent, of course, but get no namers, up and comers, whatever. Don't pay anyone outright. Maybe have one person that like can be strong and carry like some aura. Like Aegon's probably the most pivotal character. Not to say that his sisters aren't important either, but just don't rob us of Balerion in all his glory. That's all it's just one of my only asks. That's it. What's up, Brent Dismuke? How you doing? Another big issue I have is George came out in season 1 and said that this is the true version of the events, not just a bad point of view history, and that was stupid. Yeah, him saying that, I was like, that's the Homer Simpson fading into the bushes me. And I'm like, yeah, you probably should have said that, George. Just saying. What are your take on the animated shows they have planned? The Crawler show being animated will be cool. I believe Gendy Tartakovsky is doing the Sea Snake animated show for Lord Corlys. I mean, look, could be cool. Again, I think the art style will be good. Hopefully, the art style from Primal season 1 and 2 match up with this animated show for whatever they're calling it for the Sea Snake. Because Primal season 3's animation was just not good. It just was not the same. But I don't know. Yeah, give us Blackfires. I hope we do. I hope we get them. What's up, 40 Viking? How you doing? Young Aegon and Viserys to not getting caught in the Battle of the Gut was a mistake. I agree. And I think I disagree with what Ryan Condal was saying. It was, the time condensing, it couldn't have worked. I'm like, it totally could have worked. Just add time skips. Come on. Aegon's Conquest is a movie. Okay. Now I wonder how long the movie's going to be. So, or will you think they'll do like part 1 and part 2 of a movie? Like, how many hours are going to give us? I think 2's not enough. 3-hour epic, maybe 4-hour movie, 2 parts. They could do that too, perhaps. I think we can spoil stuff. Anybody in chat against it? I mean, it's up to you. I don't know. Maybe let's wait till next week, because then we'll officially be halfway through the season. It's like we only got 3 episodes to go. At that point, I don't care. So we'll just wait. But yeah, no, I know the Visenya is massively important. I'm just saying, my favoritism toward Aegon is more important. Movie, I know. That could be the case, Waylon. I hope it's not, but we'll see. It'd be cool if they did 3 movies. I'd be fine with that. Like 3 2-hour movies, like part 1, part 2, part 3. Like, I could totally see them doing it like that. Yeah, or that, right? Like, you just make a 4-hour movie. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think it was interesting the way they, portrayed, and I know it's kind of relative to the book, but how when Damon took Harrenhal, he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna sit down and eat your food. I'm taking over now. I'm claiming it for Queen Rhaenyra." And then Aemon's in there and he's a little shithead and he's like, "I'm gonna just start attacking people. Like I'm gonna attack this old, uh, uh, what's his face, Sir Strong or whatever, Lord Strong." And the guy, he's like, "I haven't held a sword in years. I'm gonna cut you down anyway." And then, like an idiot, turns his back. The guy's supposed to be so cocky. He gets stabbed by like a beta male at the table, and just it's like, and then falls before the damn witch. I'm like, okay, okay, this is what we're doing now. Yeah, the Drip King Simon Strong, R.I.P. Yep. Um, but I don't know. Like, I don't want to ruin anything, of course, but there's a certain battle that we're going to be having, and I hope him being wounded in episode 2 does not take away anything that might happen further on. Yeah, the difference in Daemon and Aemon taking Harrenhal is Daemon doesn't need to prove who he is. Aemon does, because without Vhagar, he was viewed as crazy. Meanwhile, Daemon is praised. Yeah, and it's like Daemon is strong, and they know it. So it's like, I don't need to just come in here and burn a bunch of people with this dragon, right? With Caraxes, and obviously it's like, well, sure, I've got Vhagar, the hoary old bitch, is huge and has got a saggy neck. Saw a meme that was like, why is her neck so sagging? And it was like, bruh, if you're 300 years old, like your neck would be sagging too. But he was so stupid and completely ignored the guy with the visible knife and got set. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, this guy tries to act like he's the shit, and is like, I can take Uncle Damon in a 1v1. It's like, bro, you can't even protect yourself from a guy that's like severely underskilled that's behind you. Like, you turned your back to an opponent. I'm expecting the whole movie will be deconstructing Aegon as a conqueror. He'll be useless behind the scenes, and the sisters do all the real heavy lifting while he gets the fame. Yeah, I mean, obviously, his sisters do require an adequate amount of attention, detail, and importance, right? Especially on their respectful dragons, right? So we'll get a Vhagar who doesn't have a saggy neck. Like, maybe that'll make people shut up. Oh, 100% he's crazy. Yeah, that's a good point. Timu Damon wants to be. I like that. Timu Damon wants to be Damon so bad. Yeah. I never even thought about that one. That's a great comment there. Yeah, he want. That's why I mean, look, I'll say this, and again, people might not know this, but I think majority of us watching do. The battle we're going to be getting with Aemond and Daemon, I know that a lot of us are looking forward to that. It's all I'll say. Not going to talk about the battle itself or the fight itself, but we're going to get. I'll have to remember that for the future. Like, Daemon versus Timu Daemon. Yeah, and it is an anagram. Yep. Yeah, it's like Daemon. Sorry, Aemon has this weird aspiration to be like his uncle, but he just pales in comparison, right? Ever since he was a kid. And yes, I agree. The sagging neck adds character. Yep, 100%. Yeah, dude, I want to go back and reread Aegon's Conquest, the beginning part of the book. Let me find the preview for episode 3, which I did watch. I just don't remember it off the rip because I was kind of tired. But we can absolutely talk about it. Hang on, uno momento. Let's see. House of the Dragon, season 3, episode 3. I think this is it. We'll have to do the whole play pause crap because, you know. All right. That's the correct one. Let me get the. Let's watch it in 4K, shall we? Because we can. Where do I think the series ends? Because I can't see them going past certain deaths in the show. Yeah. I don't want to spoil too much, but I definitely think they're going to go the route of a certain character, a beloved character, that and to answer Brent's question, this is exactly what I was thinking. 40, where I'm like, I wonder if someone may or may not ambiguously survive the Battle of the God's Eye. So I think they'll probably end it after or shortly after that moment. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna go far into Aegon's 3. I think he might, like, you know, take the throne and blah 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 blah. But Aemon telling Simon to go get a sword after Simon and said he doesn't have one is low key funny, but tells you how crazy Aemon is if you didn't already know. Yeah, I'm like, dude, like, like telling someone to go get a sword when it was like, I don't have one, and then it's like, I'm not gonna fight you. You're like, you're gonna beat me. So like, how can we accommodate this instead, right? Like my life doesn't have to be forfeit. Like your uncle came in here, who's a better swordsman than you, and you know, didn't kill me. But Darren's conquest of Dorne could be interesting. Yeah, I do think, you think we'll actually get that? I mean, maybe. Let me share my screen here for this preview, and then I'm gonna full screen this bad boy. They can do an Animal House, and this is what happens to every character after they crown the new king. Mm-hmm. All right. Make sure. Wait, where's my volume? There it is. All right. There's music, so we'll have to pause it along the way. But, yeah, the key difference between Aemon and Daemon: Aemon is nothing without Vhagar. Daemon is still Daemon with Caraxes, the throat goat. Yeah. Yeah, even if, like, if Daemon didn't have his dragon, like, Daemon is still badass. He's still Daemon, and Aemon's like nothing without Vhagar. All right, here we go. Preview for episode 3 next Sunday. Let's see what we get.
All eyes look to me now. Must justify my father's faith in me.
Okay, must justify my dead father's faith in me. Because he believed that she would make a good ruler, right? So if she's already going into, well, I just beheaded Sir Otto Hightower, who was his hand to the king at one point in season 1. I wonder if Viserys would have actually done that. Probably. But so she has this expectation trying to set some sort of goal. I need to rule like my father did. I need to prove to the people, like, if you remembered my father's reign and how well people liked him, I can do the same thing. I can be my father.
Rule as you would have wished.
At any rate, we must begin.
All right. That's a total side note. Yeah, he's like the runt of the kings, especially the Aegons. But that religious divine right to rule type of crazy is going to be wild this season. Oh, 100%. And again, like, that could be something that we're looking forward to. That could actually be a light in the darkness of shit that went wrong from deviating from the source material. Maybe. I agree. I am very much looking forward to season 2 of Harmony of the Seven Kingdoms. I think I'm going to go back and do make a video on season 1. Now that I have the graphic novel on my desk and I've read it, I need to read it again. Like, I really enjoyed it. All right, let's continue. On the next House of the Dragon. Sorry, I interrupted that.
None yet to control the
In the matter of the bed,
Your resources are small and your hazards are many.
This bitch is still here. Come on, man. Can she just die already? I should probably just full screen myself again. Hold on. A hedge knight. This was great. Really enjoyed this. It sure would have been nice if she took things seriously back when it really mattered. Dude, 100%, man. Oh, now you take things seriously after shit's hitting the fan. Okay. True, but you know, he's better than some of the other ones we've seen. Not the best, obviously. To be fair, almost all kings have interesting storylines except for 5. It's a Wikipedia article of a time period longer than the USA has been a country. Yeah. Viserys wasn't good. He was just a good guy to one of his kids. He was a prick to the rest of them and didn't want to face a conflict. True. I mean, like, you could say, like, he didn't really want to go to war. Obviously, like, I don't know what he would have done at a time like this, really. The white word imposter, I know. Yeah, I really did. The art in this graphic novel is great. Like, I that was one of the, I don't say selling points, but you know, I think the artwork is very well done in this. So that's why I was like, yeah, this is great. Some of these like covers, let me reshare, and I'll just, like, some of this stuff is just so well done. It just looks so badass. Like, sorry, there's a glare from my light, but like, there's some of these battles are just awesome in here. Anyway, yeah, dude, grab it. I mean, I gotta get the second one, I think, soon. Chad knows the illustrator. Nice, that's awesome. I hope we get to see Darren the second now. That's a good thing. Well, maybe we might.
Darren Targaryen.
I do love obviously, like, Daemon's, but I do love the way Matt Smith portrays Daemon. Like, he definitely has this aura, this you know, like, just, his armor is fucking awesome too. Sorry, but it's just badass. And Throat Goat behind him, just ready to go. It's like, let's go. just roast these bastards here. I think that's sea smoke in the background.
Claimant to the throne.
Oh, actually, let me go back a second. Finally. I haven't like really stopped to look at some of the art on the high tower shields. That's pretty cool. Dragon's like, we doing this or what? Cause like those are some they got more dragons and yeah, don't know if I want to go to battle now. It's kind of like look, it's like, what are we doing? Do you think if Viserys had made Rhaenyra a hand after Lord Strong and betrothed Jason Helena, that the dance could have been avoided? Probably. I think if anything, things would have been there'd been far less escalation. Could have been some disagreement, but I don't think they would have had this much escalation and death. Shadow worships the Hedge Knight stories. I mean, yeah, I mean, I do like I watched the show without reading the graphic novel first, which so I felt kind of like how other people who never read Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, or never picked up the Fire and Blood, right, and watching it from episode to episode, and I was like really surprised, but also like really glad to see such a great and well written show that has a good male character. I'm like, this is the best. Like, I think it's still the best show we've gotten so far in 2026. I mean, it's far better than I think what we're getting now too with House of the Dragon season 3. But what's up, Davina? How you doing? I haven't read those stories. I think they're definitely good, definitely worthwhile. At least the first one. I mean, I it wasn't too much on Amazon as well, from what I remember. Actually might have been it's on sale, discounted, whatever you want to call it. If Viserys wants to avoid the dance, he shouldn't have remarried. That, well, yeah. Don't spoil if you don't want to, but I think that kid is the wrong crew member. Vote him out. Yeah. The storyline could have been very interesting to me as someone who hasn't read the books. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, first, because I've spoken with a couple people who haven't read Fire and Blood, and I'm like, I've been texting them after like the past 2 weeks. And I'm like, hey, what do you think about these episodes? And they're like, oh yeah, they're like really good, like really enjoyed it. Like finally, like, I heard you mention this battle that happened, and like, and so they'll, not to be like a Debbie Downer, but then I'll text them like, yeah, this is how it all happens in the book. And, and I think majority of the people that I've spoken with have been like, oh, well, I could see how that would have been better, but I don't mind what we got, sort of thing. And that's fine if you're in that camp. But I mean, again, there are problems that stem from season 2. So season 3 is automatically going to be affected and damaged. Just the main Game of Thrones novels. Listen, I recommend watching Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's only 6 episodes. They're not long episodes. But we do get is definitely a lot better than what we've gotten. And the main GOT novels, there's only 5. I mean, they're thick boys, but they're good to an extent. Again, some of the characters we get in the books are different than what we got in the show, so there's also that. House of the Dragon isn't simply a story about the consequences of people not fulfilling their royal responsibilities. Yeah. Reading the book ruins the show, kind of. I think it's sort of the case for a lot of things, right? Which is why, like, I know another show, just as an example, that I have the books, but I haven't finished reading the trilogy yet, is the Silo show that is on Apple TV Plus. I've only read the first book. I haven't read 2 and 3 yet, because I know there's, like, I think season 3 starts July, I think, and then I think there's a season 4 too. So like I'll probably read the second book of the Silo show and then I'll read the third book. But anyway, um, let's proceed.
The throne. You're going to have to kill him.
You may not rule and remain yourself.
Yeah, so need to kill Aemond. We know that. I don't think she'll have a problem wanting to kill him or trying to say someone should kill him, but you know, it's probably going to happen at some point. And you know, it's really say much else to that, but as a side note, yes, Jon Snow in the books is awesome. And I don't know about you, Waylon, but when I first read that book and when he dies, I literally did one of those like just like toss the books and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You just killed one of the best characters in this entire saga. And look, I don't care what the hell happens in the show. Jon Snow is still dead. He's still dead. Dude, exactly, Brent. I was like, this is just like, I was like one of those like, I don't have anything that's light. Maybe my wallet. Maybe I was just like one of those things. I was like this. You know, I'm like, what the hell is that? Stuff's all falling out. But yeah, I agree. True. I could talk a lot about the books as well, but I had to take a break and walk away for a bit. Yeah, I know. There were a couple moments that definitely I had that feeling.
There is in you a door that must shut. You will do things
Yeah, at least they're like in bed together again, you know? She's not in bed with the stupid white worm.
that your heart would have recoiled from.
I dispute that I must become what I'm not.
Wait, what'd you say? I dispute I must become what I'm not?
Heart would have recoiled from.
I dispute that I must become what I'm not.
So, yeah, so Allison is just like her supervisor now. George is a desperate need to kill anyone who is seen as a hero in his books. I know. All right, this will happen, and I would love to talk to you guys about it. Yeah, we could probably do something like that in the future shows. Absolutely. Watched the show before the books, so in the show I Love John, I watched Game of Thrones for the first time until season 6 in high school, so I never knew he was dead even back then. That was 9 years ago. Like, and the funny thing was, so I used to work, I used to work at Apple at the time, when the shows were starting and ongoing for a bit, and so I worked with a lot of people, and one of my managers was a huge Game of Thrones fan, and like even from like more so the books, and he had like a huge like full sleeve of just like a Song of Ice and Fire stuff, and it was like, you know, I think he was a huge Stark fan. I don't remember everything else he had, but he and I used to chat about it all the time. And there's a few other people that have read the books, so as the show was airing, and then we would see people, and there was a few times where we'd have like watch parties. Like, I'll never forget when we had a huge watch party. There was probably about 20 of us that watched, like maybe not that much. It was like maybe 12 or so. Watched the Red Wedding, and people lost their minds, which I know was like a huge thing. But even like all the major surprises it was just kind of funny to see, because they had no idea of like the certain events that were going to happen. But just saying, Emma Darcy is one haircut away from being a really good looking character. Jen must have been the baddest of the book. Oh, 100% he was. All right, let's see. Okay, gotta kill Aemond. Must become something I'm not expected to be, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Time will tell.
That didn't really tell us a bunch. I mean, obviously it's just a teaser, but I don't know. So like, what do you guys think we're gonna see in episode 3 here? I don't even know if we know what it's, if they have a title for it yet. Let me see actually. Do we have a title? Probably not. There's probably no title for I doubt we get a title. Let's see. No title yet. Let's see. Who was it written by? Okay, so episode 1, Salt and Sea, Fire and Blood, was written by Ryan Condal. Episode 2 was written by Sarah Hess. Episode 3 was also written by Sarah Hess. Yeah, they're probably being like kind of close to the chest. Let's see here. Yeah, so episode 3 is going to basically focus on Rhaenyra trying to rule and take over, take hold of King's Landing. I don't know what else they're going to have or include, honestly. I mean, it may depend on like the pacing of this episode for episode 3. Like, it could be really boring, but unless there's some well-written exposition and acting, might kind of ease the boringness that could potentially happen. But I expect Rhaenyra to struggle. I think she's going to struggle with trying to make choices and realize, like, oh, wow, this is like what my father had to deal with. This isn't easy as I thought it would be. You know, especially when you have like no sort of, well, so you know, like practice. But, and I think the other thing to note too is let's also think about episode 3 here being the true season 3 opener. So it's like if episode 2 was the actual season 2 finale, episode 3 here is going to be the season 3 opener, technically speaking. I think episode 3 would be more politics and board pieces moving. Yeah, exactly. Yep. This is going to be political building, clarifying her character more of being queen, what it entails, probably, you know, things she's unaware of, and how to properly rule like a kingdom and not just like Dragonstone. That's true. That's true. Yeah, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Everyone wants to be at the top till it's time. Then it's like, ugh, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Check the promo pics. Gives a better picture of the episode. Promo. I mean, from what I'm seeing, lots of lots of Rhaenyra gathering at the council table. You've got Daemon, you've got the worm no one likes, you've got Lord Corlys, so he's made it to King's Landing. You've got Helena with Alicent and Rhaenyra and another still. This one's kind of cool here. Actually, let me just, I'll say, why am I not going through this with y'all? I'm terrible. Hold on. I'll do better. Hold on. Rhaenyra triumphant. Yeah. Am I wrong for feeling bad for Aegon? Like, it's so funny because it's like he was just a kid who just wanted to get drunk and party, right? It's like, no, you're supposed to be king now. Act like it. It's like, yeah, I just want to party, man. I don't give a shit about this. What were you saying about Rhaenyra, Waylon? I think she's looking directly at you, bro. How does that make you feel? All right. Rhaenyra in black with her crown on the throne. We saw the piece of this in the promo trailer. Burn and stuff. Probably being consulted, listening, or maybe giving out orders. Who knows? In deep thought, probably my guess is either Alicent or Daemon are probably in the room. Now, I was mentioning this earlier, so we've got I can't see. Oh, that's what's his face, the Maester. So here's Lord Corlys, person no one likes, and our Chad here. Yeah, so here's mother, daughter, best friend, turned opposition. Yeah, so this might be the highlight of episode 3, I feel like. But I also think it's interesting how, Darren's in full armor. It's obviously no helmet, but yeah, Damon's like, I'm just gonna show up in my clothes, dog. Like, we can still fight, but which was the first time Rhaenyra talks to a sibling in the whole show. Also, the Still of the Valerians sitting with Rhaenyra getting legitimized. I don't know. I like the stills more. Yeah, I think I'm seeing a little bit more with these stills than when we just watched a 25-second promo or whatever it was. I feel unworthy of being in her presence. It is wild that we never see Rhaenyra interact with her siblings. I know. But she still doesn't know Helena is the sweetest, right? It doesn't, yeah, because she goes kind of like crazy a bit. I personally enjoyed the wandering hallucinations of Daemon in season 2 because I thought it was well written. So I don't mind the show's talking episodes, but have good writing though. Yeah. Aegon is as cruel as he is indignant in the book. I bet the Alicent and Helena interaction happens early. Probably, yeah. Oh, what did that say, Darren? Sorry. I mean, yeah, Ormond. My bad. Do you think Daemon will know something is up with yes. I think he will. Now, is that going to be conveyed to Rhaenyra? I don't know. Sort of like, Daemon's a smart guy, smart character. He's got a lot of good strategies, but it's like, how much will Rhaenyra listen to him? I mean, obviously she couldn't have taken King's Landing without him, but what a haircut on this dude. Look at that. Looks like Mo with a beard from the Three Stooges. Oh, so this is the senior you were talking about. Mad Dog. Okay. Yeah, I mean that'll be an interesting conversation. I mean, kind of hard to like see, but again, I'm kind of just making a suggestion here, but it almost looks like based on like the angle and like her cheekbone, like she's almost kind of like smiling, you know, like her cheeks are kind of like sticking out a bit. So maybe she's smiling at them being there apart. I don't know, welcomed, I guess, you know, probably thanking them for their efforts in the battle. In finding Lord Corlys, I guess. Well, here's a big feast. I wonder if this happens earlier on or maybe towards the end of the episode. Yeah, we didn't get Fat Nero. I know a lot of people were saying saying that. I think she really likes Adam of Hall. I think so, yeah. I want Rhaenyra the Rotund soon. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get it though. Like, not saying like she needs to eat to become overweighted or anything like that, but like they could have just done some like, you know, makeup and stuff like that, right? Make her seem like she's a little chunky. How many more stills we get? Okay, so we get little conversation maybe about what's going on, what to do, some resources, some guidance perhaps from Lord Corlys, Queen Rhaenyra. The irony that Alicent's actress is getting a little chunky these days. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think someone pointed this out too. I think Matt Smith looks a little he put on a couple pounds during this episode or during this season. I'm wondering if he sees them eating and will be pissed with his wife and kids starving. They could change that though too, you know? You'd be like, hey, can I get my wife and kid now that like, you know, I got a seat at the table? That's all I'm asking for, right? I know I want like a, you know, castle of some kind, but you know, can I just get like a bite to eat from my my starving wife and kid? And another consulting scene. And this is probably happening earlier on in the episode, I'd imagine. But I know, who knows? There could be multiple conversations, I guess. They keep wearing the same damn thing. A little closer, more intimate moment between Daemon and Rhaenyra. I think they have good chemistry, though. I you know, which I appreciate, but getting all nice and nice and tailored, probably up for that dinner that's going to happen, right? Did she? Well, I'm gonna go back a couple stills here. Did she have a crown on? She had to have a crown on, right? No, she doesn't have a crown on this scene. Interesting. So I wonder what she's getting all tailored for here. I feel like the dragon scenes are a ticking time bomb after all that disrespect the last episode. Yeah, could be the case, you know. I think it'll be interesting between Ulf and Hugh, right? Because you know, Adam and Alan are like, hey, we got a seat at the table now, boys. Like, we're good. We got our name changed and all that kind of stuff. We're royalty now. Yeah. I don't know how they're gonna do the Hugh thing now with how they portrayed him being more noble than ambitious. Yes, that was a thought I had as well. And refraining from some spoilers, but you know, again, like he seems a lot different than the way they describe him in the book, right? Which I think I had I was a bookmark, but I was just looking at it earlier. Oh, I like lost my page here. Son of a bit. Which is interesting, right? Because again, small spoiler. I'll say a small spoiler. I'll do the spoiling around here. So it says the lands, castles, and coin of houses Rosby and Stokesworth were awarded to the sons of the two executed lords, whilst Hugh Hammer and Ulf White were knighted and granted small holdings on the Isle of Driftmark. So I wonder if that's going to still happen. Which could, right? I don't think we're gonna. Well, we might get that next episode. Honestly, I'm trying to find where like they were celebrating. Shit always happens. Anyway, yeah. Point being is that they're being portrayed a little bit differently. Because yeah, he is different in the show. Nettles is going to be used as a secret identity to protect Reyna. That could be. Who knows? I mean, what a damn. That'd be hilarious if that actually ends up being true. There was a theory when his wife said she was going to Tumbleton, they wouldn't make it, causing Hugh to flip. But the last episode, we see his wife still in King's Landing. Yeah. So again, that's something that they might change that. They might change that. Let's see what else we got. I mean, we're stills. I don't know. Rhaenyra up pondering, maybe before the night. At the council table. Probably deciding what to do. This is the last one. I don't remember who that is. Maester of some kind. But later, Waylon. I'll catch you later, brother. So yeah. Yeah, I think the stills were better than the actual trailer. I mean, there's a lot more stills to go through than the 20 seconds of preview, but we'll see. I think this episode is going to be pretty interesting, right? But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. I think again, it could be some good acting in this. We'll see. But Septon, yes. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's what type Nettles is in the show. We'll see. Time will tell. No ball in the small council. So I can wonder what that symbolizes. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy unstable redheads with crazy eyes, but I don't know how much more Allison I can take. Rhaenyra, Allison, and White women talking to their sounds like. Yeah, imagine like Helena's just there as well, and just kind of just like, I'm out, y'all women are crazy. Oh, I mean, it's not even me being optimistic. Like, I think again, the acting could be good. It's the surrounding writing, and that could be the issue, right? Because it could be just utter horse crap. Which at that point, I don't care how well you're acting is. The writing is bad. The writing is bad. But I will say, we'll see how much Ormond we do get in the episode, and I really, really hope they don't mess up his character. I really hope they don't mess this character up. But we'll see. So, yeah, and I mean, obviously, again, we only have 4 more episodes of discussion here, so you know, we'll for future reference, I will be talking about the rest of season 3 here, the remaining Tuesdays. So, and I think the last episode, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the last episode airs on August 9th. So August 11th. So from now till August 11th, we'll be covering House of the Dragon season 3. So, and yeah, fingers crossed. Like again, like there's certain things I think they could stay true to, and they could keep conformed to the way we want them to be, without throwing them down the garbage chute and getting pissed and shat on. But time will tell. You know, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that we're again a quarter way through this season already, and what we've gotten should have been the ending of season 2, and now, in a sense, season 3 is starting next week or this coming Sunday. So, you know, again, fingers crossed, knock on wood, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's stream. I appreciate y'all hanging out on YouTube, X, Kick, and a good amount of people watching, so I appreciate it. It might just be me chatting for the coverage of House of the Dragon. You know, beyond that, for future shows, like I said, I think we're going to cover Terminalist season 1 and season 2 on live streams. But I may be putting out some other videos. Like I said, I think I'm going to go back and reread this wonderful graphic novel here, and do a longer video based on the graphic novel and the show itself. So I've got a working idea and kind of working on a script for that. So we'll see how soon I can get that out. Just as like maybe the interim of things. Hopefully I can finish it and get it edited and all that kind of stuff before House of the Dragon season 3 ends. But I'm already watching the after episode streams on Neurotic Soul. I do streams for that list. Dude, thanks, Duke. I appreciate it, man. So yeah, so every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, I will be covering House of the Dragon season 3. David Brent, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you being here, man. Always a pleasure to see new people in the chat. So if you subbed, awesome. I do appreciate the support, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and maybe for like the season finale, I'll get some folks on here just to have like more open discussion, like where we ended up, you know, and obviously like trying to refrain from some spoilers for season 4, and then kind of just get to that point where we can have some predictions, you know, if you will. But yeah, we'll see. You know, like I said, I'm definitely curious to kind of see how it all turns out, and yeah. So let's see who's streaming. I got Nerd Wars is streaming. Let's see what's up to those guys over there. Again, appreciate all you guys watching. And yes, Terminalist season 2. No, so Dark Wolf was the prequel to Terminalist season 1, but season 2 starts October 21st, and we will definitely be covering all of season 2 for the Terminalist. I personally think the show is amazing. They're doing awesome. Hey, April, I appreciate that. And good to see you here as well. I hope to see you next week, the week after that. But I'm looking forward to Terminalist season 2. I have the 4 books of that 7 saga book. There's a prequel that I have as well, that takes place in Vietnam. But I would say that season 2 for the Terminalist is going to be better than season 1. So we'll be doing like a season 1 like recap, like a week to week basis as well. that'll probably fit in nicely after House of the Dragon before Terminal season 2 starts. And then after season 2 of the Terminalist, we'll see what might be new at that time. I don't know if like I do think if A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is out by then in 2027, because I think that's when it's going to be released, we'll definitely cover A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms season 2, 100%. I'm kind of bummed we didn't cover it on a live stream because we were covering Primal season 3, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Now that I know that the graphic novel is good and the show is great, I'm looking forward to season 2. So we'll definitely cover Knight of the Seven Kingdoms season 2 when that starts to air. And again, if it's a short season, okay, I get it, you know, because of the length of the graphic novel. But we have some other shows that we've talked about covering here before, like older shows. Like I definitely would like to talk about True Detective season 1 at one point. We've talked about covering like Justified, Deadwood, Hell on Wheels, like, and again, like maybe at least a season or 2 of them. I don't know if we'll cover all of them because that would probably take up a whole year for some of those shows. Unless we did like condensed versions, but some of those shows, it's hard to condense, you know, like in more than one episode at a time, but we'll see. So just kind of throw some things out there. Dude, Brent, thanks so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. And yeah, it definitely helps me out a lot. So say what's up to Erwin, and I will catch you guys next Tuesday night, 9 p.m. here on The Plot Strikes Back. Cheers, guys. And hold on, there's something coming in. Yeah, everyone go back and watch the scene with Allison and Helena, by the way. Would look at that mural and book. We're supposed to do something. It's been 3 years since I rewatch it. Yeah, and again, if you want to watch it as we cover it, that's a good time, right? Yeah, I'll go back and look at that. And maybe we'll talk about that in episode 3. Yeah, so maybe if you want to bring that up next week, if I don't remember. But yep. Cheers, guys. Have a great Wednesday. I will probably be streaming something different Friday afternoon, like at noon Eastern. Probably something 4th of July related. But if I don't see anyone until like next Monday or Tuesday, you guys have a great week. Be safe out there. If you're going to blow some stuff up, I will be buying a lot of fireworks and blowing stuff up. You know, fireworks, obviously just blowing that up. But got some good mortars and whatnot. So, but yeah, have a good week, everyone.